Welcome to the Once Upon an Island podcast, number 2 on the charts, number 1 in your hearts. I'm your host, Wesley, and of course, I am joined by my cheerful co-host,
Rebekah.
And today we're talking about Survivor 49, episode 2. And Rebekah.
Yes.
I need to get this out of the way right up front.
Hit me.
I have many jokes about Sage that I want to say. I made one of them right before we started recording, as you heard.
You did.
And you laughed.
It was really good.
But I know that not many of our viewers will want to hear peeing jokes. So I'm going to promise, hold me to this, listeners, that I will make no more than 2 this podcast. Let's see if I can hold to that. Because the fact that she did one tonight and talked about the excitement of her bladder made me go, I am excited just thinking about all the jokes I can make. And I did comment on a recent Instagram post on Survivor where, and you could see it was one of the ones where they were talking about the Yellow Tribe and how Matt was confused by streaming. And I was like, I commented something about like Sage popping her head out of the bushes hearing about streaming, and it got a lot of likes. So
that's incredible.
That's not a joke. That doesn't count as one of my 2, but all right, let's keep me in check. All right. Sure. This episode, I gotta say right at the gate, was better to me than last week's.
1000%. I think definitely this episode we're feeling how much better the 90 minutes is than 2 hours. Because I think last week there was like just so much extra fluff that could have been cut, and it would have made that episode so much tighter and just like, yeah, just better. And I think we got more of that this week. And also just we're getting to know the players more. So yeah, we're definitely starting to warm up. I want to know more about the players still, but like this felt like a really solid episode too to me.
My father, who is he is the casual viewer he's the most casual viewer I think I know. I have other family members who are casual viewers, a couple of friends, but my father's probably the one that I'm like, I try not to say nothing to him in terms of trying to talk to my father. I try not to say nothing to my dad about, because one time I remember during 47, he was like, who do you think's going to win? A very rough question to ask the person who does winner analysis for a living. Who do you think's going to win? I really like Kyle. And I said, do you want to know who's going to win, or do you want to know who I'm rooting for? And he said, oh, no, if you know who's going to win, never mind. Let's not talk about this. And we sat in our car in silence.
That's incredible.
After that was the end of the exchange. So I say it because he texted me last week and he said that I think he said he got an hour into the first episode of the premiere. And he's like, I don't think I'm going to watch the rest of this episode. And I did say, oh, wow. Well, it's a weak start. And that was the end of that conversation, because conversations don't go very long between me and my father. Sure. But better than my mother, who's a narcissist, just in case she's listening. Yes, my mother, yeah. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, a little family trauma. Yeah, my mother's a huge narcissist. And I remember instead of like apologizing for all of the things she did, she instead was sending me letters in the mail about the Matt chat theory. I know I've said this before, but it's still funny to this day to me. Oh, trauma's hilarious. All right, so moving along, the fantasy game. I will say, if you missed the first 2 weeks, it is not too late. Absolutely can join. My team had Annie on it, so I am in a rough spot. I got Alex and Annie. I'm in a rough spot right now. Annie went out in episode 2, for good reasons, but she's on my fantasy team. I'm like, what? Okay, what did I do wrong?
You know what? Can I tell you something?
Yeah,
you might actually be doing better than me.
You had
because
Nicole.
My team was Nicole and Juwan. So I got some points from him tonight. He's definitely, he's gonna have to carry this season.
I need Alex to reach Final 3, and you need Juwan to reach Final 3 as well, because Nicole and Annie, doing our teams dirty. So what I'm saying is, it's not too late to join. You'll have the benefit of knowing who not to put on your team. But I will say that this is probably the last good week to join. You can join any week, but like, I think my opinion is after week 3, if you miss 3 weeks, you probably don't have a chance of winning. And the winner does get to pick any story video for me to make from any season of Survivor by any player. Yes, including Dan Spieler from Island of the Idols, because people are like, even him? And I'm like, yeah, if you want to, go for it. Like, I know people are like, oh, you're gonna I'll talk about it. Like, I didn't do it.
Right.
It's going to get a lot of villains on screen and dumbs on screen, but I'm like,
like, who's going to watch this video? But
people out of morbid curiosity would watch a Dan Spieler video. And if it ever gets picked, I'm like, I'm not afraid to make it. Whatever, pick it. Anyway, so if you win, you can pick Dan Spilo from Island of Idols. Ooh, what a selling point. Or somebody you actually like. So, all right, let's move along. Us laughing about Dan Spilo does remind me that Blue started this episode by laughing about Nicole leaving. And then Sophi B's like, Nicole left, and that's good and all, but Annie sucks.
Right.
She's like, not just Nicole, Annie also sucked. That's what Sophi B said. I was like, 10 out of 10 material. This is the kind of vitriol I want to hear. I want to hear people be like, yeah, that person sucked, but also this person sucks. Like, don't be like, we're all in love with each other. No, this person sucks. I don't like them. They're annoying me.
You know what? Let's go back for round 2. Can we vote out 2 people tonight?
No, Annie said that right after. Annie's
I know, yeah.
I don't even care about tribal. Let's go back. You should, Annie. You should care. That's what I was thinking. The most she said that, she's like, I'm the puppet master. I was like, oh no. I even messaged you. I was like,
boy.
Noob move, dude. Noob move. And you
Nail
said,
in the coffin.
What did you say in response?
Red flag, big mistake.
Big mistake. And Matt, we have a group chat with all of us podcasters. And Mass was like, cancel Christmas. So we were just going. Yes. Mary was too busy furiously taking winter analysis notes. Mary was not in on the jokes. The rest of us are goofing off. Mary,
listen, that's so on brand, though. While the rest of us are just like goofing off and being nonsensical, Mary is actually like putting in the work and like gonna have a thoughtful analysis.
That's why.
And the rest of us are just over here trying to like figure out how many pee jokes we can make in this episode. That doesn't count as one, by the way.
Does not count as one of my 2. Yep. Tomorrow, Mary and I will be doing in-depth winter analysis on the remaining 16 players. With that, Madison's going to join us week 3. I'm going to be on Survivor Specialist tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. I think they always do it live. So 5 p.m. Eastern if you want to join us live. And we do have, so I did ask people on Patreon who they want us to ask for podcast guests. So it is an open post for free and paid patrons. Just jump on Patreon, put who you want. The top people get the most likes. I'm going to ask. I've already asked a few people. One person asked us, and let me tell you, if you ask us to be on our podcast, I am going to try to get you on the podcast. Like that is endearing to me. Like, oh, you asked me to be on, like, of course. Yes. Rome asked me again. And I said, yes, Rome, of course. So Rome is going to be on with us week 6, the merge week. That is the only guest we have lined up at the moment, but we are working on others as the Patreon people do suggest them. Rebekah, I asked Rebekah, I'm like, out of 700 plus players, Rebekah, who do you want me to ask to be a guest? And Rebekah said,
you better believe I picked the one person with a private Instagram page, not online at all. I said Genevieve, of course. I would love to talk to Genevieve.
Rebekah said,
it would be
what about
so
Genevieve?
Incredible.
She said,
what I'm saying
Genevieve?
Is I just want to get my doppelganger on the show so that, I don't know, we can just like both say the same thing at the same time. I think that would be really fun. So yeah, but yeah, I know she's not super online, so maybe unrealistic, but I think it would be really fun to have a conversation with her and hear her analytics of the season.
I think just the real talk, Rebekah, out of all the people you could have picked, you picked somebody who's on 50, which means they can't podcast with us even if they wanted to, even if I did have their connection on Instagram or wherever else. So yeah.
Well,
Rebekah's like, there's no one else I want.
Listen, maybe she could come on a future season. Yes. It doesn't have to be for this season. It could be 50, could be after 50.
I can ask her for 51, yeah. I'm just saying there's like, I was like, anyone else? Rebekah's like, no.
No, that's it. That's my one pick.
Rebekah's like, no, just Genevieve.
Which, to be incredibly clear, there are other people that like I would love to talk to. When you ask me questions like that, I forget everyone who's ever played Survivor. So it's not to like diss everyone else. Like, yeah, I'm sure there's lots of other people that would have like great analysis and different things, but I don't know. She was just the first person to come to mind.
Oh, and I asked David for 48, and this is confusing. So, Rome was on our 46. This is a little inside baseball and inside Survivor, inside whatever. Rome was on our 48 podcast. He was on 47, right? He played on 47. Was on our 48 podcast, whatever. David, I was like, I'm going to ask David. I said, David, during the summer, I asked him if he could come on from 48. He said, yes. And so I followed up with him like 2 weeks ago, a week ago. And he said, can you talk to CBS? Can you talk to CBS to have me on? And I was like, okay, I don't have any contact with them. I don't think CBS would like me. Let's be real. That's why we're number 2 on the charts. And I was like, no, I don't have any contact with them. So apparently I got to talk to CBS about David, but I don't, it's like David on some future shows. Like he's not on Amazing Race. He's not another season Survivor. He's not on The Challenge as far as I know. So like maybe he will be. I don't know. Like I feel like that's why I was confused. I'm like, Rome didn't need me to talk to CBS. Why does David? So I'm wondering if David's on a future show is my theory, and we don't know what it is yet. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if that's true, but watch out. David might be on a future season of something. I would guess The Challenge would be the most fitting of anything.
I was going to say he would absolutely slay on The Challenge.
Yes.
That would be so much fun.
Yes, I think
I would vote for that.
That's probably the show I would anticipate David being on, because I'm like, why else would I even talk to CBS about you being on our podcast? So nobody else I have talked to and asked to be on has anything like that. That's why I'm like, okay, must be something. Yeah. So anyways, let's talk about the theme song. Any theories from this one, Rebekah?
Yes. Okay, so I feel like I am going to have some, but to be honest, like I need to watch it again.
At least 40 times.
At least 40 times. No, because there was some stuff where I think like I was noticing on the Red Tribe, I think it showed like everybody back to back, and then there was a gap, and then it showed Savannah. So I was like, okay, that might be something. Like there were a couple things that I was like, okay, I think this is something, but I need to like watch it again and double check and make sure I didn't like miss something, because it just goes by so fast. There's so many Easter eggs. There's so much to look for.
So
but what were your initial thoughts?
Things I liked. I really liked I don't know what it's not the font, because I think the font hasn't changed. I like the coloring, the gradient on the font this season. Like I know it's such a minor thing. Like who cares about that? It was something that stood out to me because I liked the way it looked. What I didn't like is when the theme song starts. If you go and look at it on YouTube, just look up Survivor 49 intro or whatever. They show like the ship that they use for like the Edge of Extinction season. I think it's the most recent one they used it for, where they do a marooning off of it. And it's like, okay, but that wasn't even in this season. You know?
Yeah.
Why tease me with an actual interesting intro? Like, why didn't you show the stupid little 3 boats? Why are you lying to me in the intro, you know? So anyways, otherwise, yeah, it's the intro. I think they stopped doing anything teasing with the intro after 47. Everyone remembers, well, at least people who were here, my 47 podcast, I was going off about the intro every week. Word got out. I mean, I was going off about it in 45 and 46, but I would not stop with 47. I think I made a whole video about how I think it spoiled the winner's a woman, obviously. That was my thing. Of course, I thought it was going to be not Rachel. I thought it was somebody else, but boy, was I wrong with that one. But anyways, yeah, I'm watching it again right now as we're podcasting. This is only my second time viewing it, to be clear. But yeah, nothing stood out. I know Annie's name was highest, but like we just argued voted off. Also, I didn't think it was Annie to begin with.
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing else. Nothing that indicated Savannah that I could tell right away, or the Rizgod, who people were suspecting from 50, of course. So I mean, people are gonna be on 50, and it's like, okay, anything indicating? No, nothing I saw. So a normal intro. Probably don't need to talk about it ever again unless they change it up week to week. So I'm serious. Like, unless there's something, if anybody in the comments wants to let me know something you actually see, go for it. But
listen, here's my thing. There may not be any Easter eggs in the intro, but I'm going to find them, even if they're not there. So that's my goal.
You do that, Rebekah. Report back to me. Report back to me on that one.
Okay, I'll come back after I've seen it 100 times.
At least 100 times, at least 140 times. All right. So we go over the Red Tribe. Savannah catches a crab, and Shannon's like, hold on. Before we eat this crab, I must pray over it. And I don't know who Savannah's praying for. As a Christian, I can tell you she wasn't praying to God. So I'm like, who's she praying? She's like, the spirits in the wild wilderness. And it's like,
yeah.
Okay.
It was almost like partly to the crab, I would say, of like, a thankfulness, a holding space for the life that they're taking. I think that's the word that she used.
The music, though, did not take her seriously. Was I guess we were gonna use the words from the season. The aura I was feeling, the vibes I was catching.
The cinema.
Yes, it was pure cinema when the music came on behind her. So yeah, just. Both episodes, they have shown Shannon being very, what's it called? Is crunchy still a word used? Hippie? I know hippie is the classic.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's interesting because like, as much as we're focusing on Shannon, I do feel like, because we immediately go back to Nate again, and he's talking about how like all of this is making him feel like an outsider because he doesn't understand the lingo necessarily of this generation and everything.
I mean, Nate's like a normal human being.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I mean, like, obviously they put together this montage, but they had a montage of everyone saying like, oh, the vibe and the cinema, and like so many times.
Vibe. Immaculate vibes.
Yeah. And I know that was edited. Like that wasn't how they were actually saying it on the island, but it was very funny to just hear it all cut together like that. And I don't know. Yeah, I do like, I kind of feel bad that Nate feels so left out, because I don't know. Like, I don't think the young people are doing anything like crazy. They're just, speaking in this kind of Gen Z, like, gamer talk, whatever you want to call it, internet speak. And, he's just like from a different generation. So I don't know. I think what sucks is that, because we talked about this last week, how they have like one older person on each tribe.
Yeah.
And so that automatically just puts them on the outside of the tribe. And I wish they would just, I don't know, put them all in the same tribe, or like just have a little more variety in the ages or something, so that wasn't automatically a target on someone for like no reason. But I don't know. Yeah. But that scene was very like funny to watch. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, Nate was like, I gotta adapt to the. So Nate goes back to Rudy from season 1, where Nate's like, I gotta adapt to this tribe because they're not normal. Well, he doesn't say this because they're not normal. They're not the people I normally am around. I think is what Nate's really saying here. And I looked at Mary. I was like, dude, we would have to be adapting as well, because I am not that much older than most of these people on this tribe, and I'm still here. Like I don't think I've ever unironically said the words aura or vibe or cinema unironically in my life before this podcast.
What's interesting about it too is that, because I don't know if we heard her talk about this much this week, but I think last week Savannah was talking about how like she is kind of like, okay, this is kind of a lot. Like we're constantly just the vibe tribe, and like, Shannon, doing her like leading us in meditations and stuff. She's like, okay, like at some point we got to get serious and play the game. But I think what's interesting is that Savannah is able to sort of blend in a little bit better than Nate is, just because, I mean, she's a little younger and she probably, has heard the lingo more than Nate has. But it is just interesting.
The lingo, that's such an old person word.
Well, listen, hey, I guess I'm old then. But I'm just saying, like, I think it's interesting the way that the narrative is being shaped of, like, Savannah is technically also kind of outside of this in the sense that she's kind of saying, like, yeah, this is kind of silly, but the perspective of the show of what we're seeing is like she's still fitting in. She's not an outsider in the way that Nate is, even though they both might have like similar perspectives on what's happening. So I don't know. Yeah, like part of that is in the edit. Part of it might be just like their actual social game. But yeah, I don't know. Something definitely to consider when we're looking at just the dynamic of the tribe.
At one point, the Rizgod says Nate's hugs. It's cinematic, and I was like, what's funny to me is Nate actually works in cinema. So for him to hear that his hugs are cinematic, he's like,
well,
what?
Okay, not to diss Nate, but to be clear, he does work for Marvel, which some might argue is not the most cinematic.
No, it's not.
I'm not saying that I say that. I'm just saying some people.
Oh yeah,
some people might say that it's all shot on green screen and not
some
really that cinematic.
People
but
might say Marvel's the equivalent of fast food movies. Some people,
you didn't
not
hear
me.
That from me.
That's the official word on this podcast is we support whoever is listening to the podcast. That's who we support. 100%. However, some people say Marvel is just fast food. Some people out there on the internet. And to be clear, I sometimes enjoy fast food. I enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I enjoy Thor, the third one, Ragnarok, not Love and Thunder. But some people might say, the first Avengers movie, some people might say, not us.
Some people most might recent say, Ant-Man movie. Listen,
dude, all the Ant-Man movies. Some people, though, not me.
Yeah, truly.
Some people might say that the Survivor New Era is a little long in the tooth and that we should have had a returning season before 50. Some people, not me though. Some people.
Okay, roll the clip.
Some
it's just a
people.
clip of us saying that.
Yeah, no, I've said that.
Like a montage of us saying that so many times.
Oh, it was just the auras and the vibes were just so cinematic when I said all those times. All right. So then we get an alliance where I guess the Jawan thing from last week fell through, where he's like, we're looking for our fourth. The Rizgod, Nate, Savannah, and Shannon. Shannon in the alliance, huh? Rizgod, Nate, Savannah, and Shannon are the major four. Seems like every tribe we're being presented with what I say major four. The
core four.
Core four, yeah. I was gonna say majority four. Yep. Core four, majority four, whatever. So Jawan and Sage are on the outs, but it makes sense that Sage is on the outs.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's probably just
Are you gonna use one?
Yes. They're all these four people are all talking to each other in the woods, and Sage is just out in the water doing her darndest to try to get an aqua dump. She wants one to happen. No one's done it. And Sage is like, she's like praying. She's like doing the Shannon prayer. She's like, please, may the seas bless me with the aqua dump I have so crave.
Mr. Crab, yeah.
Savannah then does a Devon's impression when she does her reporter thing. I say this because I just recently made Rick Devon's video, which is on Patreon right now. And Devon's, by the way, he holds up. Like, sometimes you like a player and then you watch seasons later, you're like, I guess I kind of like that. It didn't really hold up as well as I thought. Devon's holds up. Devon's charisma is not matched. Like, it's unmatched. It's there are other people with his charisma, but like on his season, he is by far the best character. I know people can disagree with that. That's fine. Devon's makes that post merge interesting. He makes it so much fun. That season hinges on whether you like Devon's though. Devon's a great character. He does do the dun 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 dun. This just in. He does like that thing.
Yes,
Savannah kind of does something like that here with her reporter thing. And I was like, are they in the same tribe? They are. They're on the same tribe in 50.
Oh, interesting. See, that's so funny because I had completely forgotten that Devon's even did that. But as soon as you said that, I was like, oh yeah, that was so iconic.
People think he did it like too many times, but the first time he does it in the edited show, not in a secret scene. In the edited show, because he does do it in a secret scene earlier. In the edited show, he doesn't do it until episode 4 when Jeff prompts him to do it. I want to point out at Tribal, Jeff prompts Devon's to do it, which means he probably had done it before, I assume, but they hadn't shown it to us yet. Jeff prompts him to do it Tribal. He does it. That's when he gets voted off. And then he doesn't do it again till like episode 10. And then from there, he does do it a few times till the end of the season. But it's like, I just remember people like dogging on him. I'm like, first time Devon's got prompted to do it. Like, you kind of don't have a choice when Jeff makes you do it. Kind of. Right. I mean, you can, but then I hear that Jeff tells the cameras to shut off and he yells at you. That's not what I would say it happened because I've never been there. Some people might say on Rob as a podcast when talking about behind the scenes what happens. Mm-hmm. Some people, not me. Some people would say that Jeff yells at you if you don't do what he wants. Some people, not me. I think Jeff is perfect and immaculate. His vibes are immaculate. His aura, impressive.
Yes.
Cinema. All right.
I just imagine it cuts to Devon's like doing the reporter voice just with tears streaming down his face because Jeff just yelled at him.
All right. So we go over to the Yellow Tribe. Matt, Christina, and Steven are a threesome and they want MC to be the fourth. MC says yes because that is the correct move.
Yes. You always say yes.
Always say yes. Because the reality is unless that's not, is that even lying? Because I'm going to say yes to any. You want me in your alliance? Yes, I want to be in your alliance. Now, will I actually fall through with this alliance later? I don't know. In the moment, I'm going to say yes. Why would I say no? Like, shoot, the only way I'd say no is if like you have that majority 4 and Annie tries to get in. Like, like when Alex is going talking to Annie, like that's lying. You know that's not happening, Alex. MC says yes, and then she goes and snitches to Sophie. So,
well, I will say I think that like MC very clearly knows that Matt is like because she says she thinks like Matt, it seems like he has kind of slimy like vibes or whatever. What I can't use the word vibes anymore because we're overusing it now.
Aura, cinema. No, this is the podcast.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I think it's partly because when he pulled her aside and is like, hey, we want you to be in this alliance. He was like, yeah, we have a 3 and we want to bring you in. Like that was the way he phrased it to her.
Right. Which, she's the fourth.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like if anyone said that to me, I'm like, okay, so I'm on the bottom of this alliance. So I think that it's like, yes, MC does immediately go snitch on him, but like he kind of set himself up for that by saying that so explicitly to her.
Yeah.
Like he did not play that super well. And it was good that she picked up on that.
Immaculate,
so good for her.
Immaculate cinema by MC to pick up on that. Yes, correct.
Yes.
Immaculate MC. Great job. Proud of you. Okay, so that happens. The Yellow Tribe, though, that's all we really get in terms of their alliances. Yellow Tribe seems to be the least amount of, it has the least amount of depth at the moment to me out of the three tribes.
Yeah.
Of course, Blue's gone to tribal, which forces depth, whether they were going to get it or not. But at the moment, Yellow feels like it has the least amount of depth. We go back over to, okay, go ahead.
But what is interesting, just real quick, is that, we've seen this pattern before where like you've got a tribe that's just absolutely dominating, but we're not hearing anything from them, or we're not hearing much from them. And we're hearing from the tribe who's consistently getting second place. So like the red tribe is not going to tribal, but we're still hearing from them, I feel like, way more than yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And so that does factor into my like winner analysis of like, okay, I'm starting to think like the winner is probably not on yellow just because we're not like hearing from them.
Yeah.
And we are hearing from red, who is also a tribe that is winning.
Red and blue are our main two tribes. Yeah.
And like you said, it could be someone on blue as well, but we are just hearing from them because they're going to tribal.
But I would say blue has depth. So like last season, I don't remember exactly what color it was. I know it wasn't the Joe and Eva tribe. One of the tribes last season was getting a lot of content because they're going tribal, but didn't feel relevant, I guess. Like it felt like they were only in content because they're going tribal. I feel like blue gets more than that. I feel like blue gets more than we're going tribal, so we have to give us time on air. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like you're giving us time on air and we're also going tribal. So it really, to me, feels like yellow is just getting like what we're required to do for the third tribe, whereas blue's getting normal amount plus tribal, and red's getting, I guess, a normal amount. Red's getting,
and honestly, like blue, I would almost describe as like they're kind of getting set up for an underdog story, because like there's been so much emphasis on like, oh, we just keep losing, but there is still that, like you're saying, that depth to the tribe and their dynamics and everything. So like, yeah, they could very well be setting something up for like, okay, someone from this tribe is going to be an underdog and at least go deep into the game. So I don't know, just speculating, but yeah, that's kind of what it feels like they're setting up at the moment.
Yeah, for those who like to figure out who the winner is without spoilers, which is what we do here. We'll talk about winner analysis when we get to winner analysis. But yes, without spoilers, which is what we do here. Apparently outside this season. It's so hard with this season. Like, what the heck?
I know.
Dude.
It's so...
Wait till we get to winner analysis, dude. Like, I got more for you. I got more. I mean,
always knew this season was going to get overshadowed to some extent by 50, and I feel like it's impossible almost to talk about this season without talking about 50.
Yeah. Well, also, yeah, like, freaking Survivor themselves. It's not like... It'd be one thing if people are just, like, trying to suss it out by, like, doing whatever they do normally. But, like, this season, Survivor did it to themselves. And I made a video and I uploaded it on back on Monday about did Survivor spoil season 49. If you're interested in all the details on what Survivor has done to potentially spoil the season, of course, nothing is confirmed, but to potentially spoil the season, go there. I will, by the way, I remove comments of people who leave spoilers. Like, if you want to be like, I'm putting 2 and 2 together on X, Y, or Z, like, that's fine. But like, I know what a spoiler is and I know what I'm just guessing is. Like, it's so obvious. Because it's the seasons they get that have like the most spoilers out there. People are like, I have a really good feeling about. It's like, yeah, you have a really good feeling about the things that are like everyone's saying is the spoiler. Like, fantastic. You're not smart.
Right, yeah.
Like, I'm not. No one's impressed. No one's gonna hand clap. All I'm gonna do is just remove your comment. And if you do enough times, I just shadow ban you. Just letting people know in case you're like, why are my comments not showing up? Number one, either you insulted somebody, which does happen in the comments. What? Not on YouTube. No, this is a safe space.
No,
I know.
Come on, guys.
Or B, you're
messing with the vibes if you do that.
Purposefully acted like your guess, your spoiler is like is just a guess, and it's like, okay, I'm not. Yeah. So, anyways, little side tangent. Some people might say that's what happens to your comments, but not me. All right, Sophie and Jeremiah are annoyed by Annie's bossiness. Now, I want to point out that the show doesn't say this, but it was in her pregame bio that she is a former CEO. The show wanted to lean in, she's a musician. Nonsense. She's a former CEO, and it came out with what people were saying about her bossiness and her being a Karen. She's a former CEO, right? Bossiness.
Yeah, there you go.
They used to be able to boss people around and people doing what they say and not getting any kickback, so they don't even know what they can and can't say without people being annoyed because they're so used to people sucking it up.
Mm-hmm.
That's my assessment. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty accurate, an accurate read. I think it's always like so fascinating to watch like someone who just it clearly like thinks that they know what's going on in the tribe, but like is so clearly out of the loop. But it is like, yeah, it's interesting to watch kind of how that spirals, because as soon as like the other 4 in the tribe kind of are like, okay, we got to vote Annie out, then they start kind of feeding into that delusion that she has. So even like, you know, Alex later when he's like showing her the idol and everything and like telling her like, oh, we're going to do this big plan and voting Sophie out and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, they're just kind of feeding into her delusion to like blindside her, which is a little interesting because I'm like, I don't really understand what the purpose is of like blindsiding someone so aggressively this early in the game when you know that like she doesn't have an idol or anything. But I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, it is always interesting to watch when someone just like thinks they know what's going on and they clearly don't. And it can be annoying or it can be entertaining. But yeah, I don't know. I'd be curious to see if Annie were to play again, if she's learned anything from this and would like approach it differently. But yeah, I don't know if she made a big enough impression in 2 episodes to, you know, be asked back, but that would be interesting to see how she would do in future seasons.
Well, she's not coming back. She's a second boot, so don't worry about that, people. Jake does hide her shoe, and this is what I said last week.
Oh, yeah.
Jake hid Nicole's shoe last week. Nicole goes home. Jake hid Annie's shoe this week because he was annoyed at her. She went home. If Jake gets bitten by a snake next week, does Jake, that's what it said next time Survivor, if next time Survivor is to be trusted, which sometimes it cannot be trusted.
Is a big if.
This one does seem legit. I'm not saying, they were like, it's a venomous snake. Like that might be the nonsense. I don't know if that's true. I'm just saying that might be the nonsense the next time Survivor, trying to get you to be like, oh no, Jake's going to die. Obviously not.
Yeah. It seems to me like
that would be promoted on the show. That would be
here's my
hold on. Jake's wife is having a kid in a couple days. Jake's gonna die from a snake. Tragedy.
Oh
struck on 49 when Jake died before his baby was born. Yeah, that's not gonna be. That doesn't fit the immaculate aura vibes of the cinema Survivor 49 is trying to put out there. Go ahead, Rebekah.
Okay, here's my assumption about what actually is going to happen next week.
Okay.
Is Jake is going to see something in the ocean and be like, oh, that's food. I'm going to go fishing or I'm going to go try and grab it. And then Alex is like, don't do that. That's a poisonous snake. I'm afraid for your life.
Oh.
And then Jake is like, oh.
That's a Jake's like, snake. I'm going to yank that snake. Alex is like, don't yank your snake. That could be poisonous. And Jake's like, okay,
for sure.
You're right. It's probably a good idea for me to yank my snake on Survivor 49.
For sure.
That's I'm tracking what you're saying. Okay. All right. Jake hides Annie's shoe. Sage wants to be a minor league team mascot, which immediately has me asking, which team? There's so many.
Great question.
I want to know, also, Sage, which team?
Also, I love that she went straight to minor league, not major league.
She knew her aspirations were to start lower, work your way up.
Sure. And then when that didn't work out, she was like, well, I guess I'll be the Easter Bunny.
Which is definitely a jump. Definitely a jump.
It is. And I mean, she said that she hated being the Easter Bunny, but I have so many questions. Like, was this one of the Easter Bunnies where like kids come and sit on your lap and like get a photo with you? Because those are easy jobs to get, right? But that seems like a very different job than like being a minor league like mascot. And you're like running around and like trying to amp up the crowd and stuff. Like that just seems like a very different job.
Easter Bunny brings joy to kids. The mascot brings joy to the people in the stands. I personally, Mary will tell you this because I have a lot. I really like minor league baseball. Major League Baseball is okay. I think because minor league's so affordable to go to, and they have so many different teams and like I don't know. I like going to minor league games. It's very cheap entertainment. It's still baseball.
Honestly, same, because also I feel like they like, I don't know if I'd say they like play harder or maybe like take more risks in a sense because they're like trying to get to the next level. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like everyone there who's like playing just like wants to play better, even more than they do in the major leagues, if that makes sense.
I'm not.
I don't know. It depends on the team.
I'm not a huge. I like seeing baseball in person. I don't ever watch it on TV.
Sure,
so I don't know if that's true. What you said could be true. I have no idea. I've been to one major league game in my life, but a ton of minor league games. A ton. I can't even count them.
Nice.
So here's a little side story. Mary and I went to a minor league game. I won't say what team, but we went to a minor league game and we showed up and the parking attendant was like, what are you here for? And I was thinking, is there something else happening right now? What am I here for? I was like, the baseball game. He's like, okay, $10. And I gave him the $10. He's like, had you said you were here for the high school performance, you would have gotten in for free. And I'm like,
oh.
I was like, okay, there's a high school performance. And so we pull in and there is so many high schoolers at this minor league baseball game.
Oh no.
On, I think it was like a Tuesday, Wednesday. It was not a Friday, Saturday. It was the middle of the week. So we go
School
in
night.
and it is packed, I say. The game was like 6:00, I think maybe 6:30. So we go in packed and I got pretty good seats behind that's why I like going minor league games. It's like $5 more to sit behind the umpire. It doesn't cost very much.
Yeah.
Also
for an extra
minor league,
$5, you can actually be on the field.
right.
You get to play in the game.
and most minor league stadiums, you can buy cheap seats and just move to wherever you want. Nobody's gonna say nothing. Most, not all. I will say some really care. Anyway, so we did that. We sat there and they did a little pregame thing, the high schoolers, and the game starts. And by inning 2, I am not exaggerating when I say I think 8 people were still in the stands.
Whoa.
8, including me and Mary.
Whoa.
I know. And I was like,
that's crazy.
Man, was this just packed 10 minutes ago? All these high schoolers showed up nobody stayed for the game. And I'm like, by the way, the game, they did end up winning, the home team that we were there to root for. And They had horrendous pitching. I was like, this is not good for the future of the major league team they play for. But anyways, so that was that minor league story. I was like, I could have got free parking. And I was like, wow, what we got a packed game tonight in the middle of the week. No, it was 8 people. So
okay, but then how was the mascot?
Hold on. Yes, I bought a so every minor league game I go to, I buy a baseball hat with their logo.
Nice.
I do. I enjoy wearing them because people are like, what team is this? And it draws up conversation where, I used to wear I'm a big Packers fan. Green Bay Packers football team. Mm-hmm. I used to wear stuff that had their logo. People would strike up conversations that were like, oh, are you from Wisconsin? I'm not from Wisconsin. So I hated that conversation because it never led to anything positive. They're always like, oh, why are you a Packers fan? And it's like, because I like the team. So anyways, if you wear a minor league team, it draws up the conversation because number one, nobody ever knows about the minor league team I'm wearing on my hat. Mm-hmm. I wear a lot of minor league hats. But number 2 is I bought this hat. Okay. I bought this hat this game because I like buying it at the game. I bought it at the game. It was the tail end of the season. I find out, Rebekah, kid you not, that a month later I get an email saying, we're doing a new logo.
No.
Everything is changing. And I'm like,
wait, but now it's vintage.
It is vintage.
Now you can sell it for more.
I don't think anybody cares about this minor league team. All that to say is on one hand, but the thing is I like the new logo more. I was like, oh my gosh, a month before they changed it, I bought the old one. And the new one is sad. I will admit, the new one's better. Most of the time, you're like, new logo sucks. No, new logo is better. I was like, dang, I'm not buying another hat right now. I'll wait till I go again, I guess. All right. So anyways, that was a fun story. I'm sure everyone enjoyed and no one's going to complain about the comments. Some might complain, but not me. All right.
Yeah, so no one here.
Shannon tells Savannah that Jawan used her bag. Savannah is filled with rage. Rage, I say. Well, how would you feel if this happened to you, Rebekah?
I think this is I just don't understand how this happens. I get that all their bags look the same, but man, what a blunder for Juwan to be like, yeah, let me just grab a bag and put all these sticks and bugs in it. I would be upset.
Just a bag. He thought it was his bag, though.
Because, listen, I get it. They're living on an island, outside. Everything is dirty.
So it's not borrowed time after this.
Yes. But, it's not like he, took something that was perfectly clean and, got it dirty. But it is still, yeah, you got your clothes and stuff in there, and now there's like bugs and ants and everything, and like you could even see on camera like some ants running around her bag. Like that is super annoying. So I get that she's upset, and it doesn't take much on Survivor. You do anything to rock the boat, and that could be enough to get you voted out. So yeah, I don't think that was a good move on his part. I think he should have paid more attention. But like at the end of the day, I don't think it was malicious. Like it wasn't like he was out here intentionally hiding people's shoes. It was just a mistake. But yeah, it may have been a costly mistake. We'll see.
We shall see. So a boat shows up to their camp and Sage just like, hold on. My bladder responds to my heart rate, and my heart rate raises when the boat shows up. I gotta go pee. I'll be back in a little bit. I mean, it's a theme. Sage is not winning because her story is about her goofiness, and her goofiness is directly related to pee and poop. And if she was there for Nicole, it'd been for puke as well. But she was not there for that. Yeah. So I mean, like also, everything about her, that's all it is, like goofiness and her bowel movements.
Can I just say, I don't know if you caught this, but I don't know if you remember last season when you and I had a bit of a running joke about what if you have to.
We don't do that.
Yeah, I know, running jokes.
This podcast is 100% serious.
Very serious, very somber.
Very
the
somber.
Vibes, the cinema, immaculate. But about like, okay, what if, you're at a challenge and you have to pee and the whole like crew and everybody's just waiting on you to pee.
This is true.
Do you remember this? That we had this bit and it actually happened in this episode. Everyone is standing around waiting for Sage to go pee.
This was the episode to have Rome on because Rome last year, it's the episode we really talked about the most, was with Rome.
That's where we started that running bit. He did not think that was funny.
Rome did not think it was funny at all.
We had a great time though. Some people would say that's funny.
Some people might say that Rome did not catch the vibes and the aura of the joke we were asking about him about. He didn't find it very funny. So believe it or but you guys better believe, when he's on week 6, I'm gonna ask him again. Like Rome.
Yeah. Especially if Sage is still here.
If Sage is still here, I have to ask Rome what he thinks about the bowel movements because it's very important. Some might say that that's an important question. Not me. Oh, so Rome, sorry, not Rome. Rome's 2 seasons ago. So yes, the Journey boat shows up and I was like, oh boy, a Journey. And then they said what the Journey is when they get there. And I was like, oh, color me intrigued. And an actual challenge between people. And there is one winner and it's not luck. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was actually skill.
Jawan wins and gets a choice. And I was like,
yes.
Is this the best Journey ever? I am going to put my foot down and say, yes, it is.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. And even like little things, like I like the fact that regardless of what he would have chosen, like I think it said, if he chose to steal a vote, like they wouldn't know about it until they literally went to vote.
Yeah.
Like I think that's even something that's like kind of fun and exciting, like that, whoever lost a vote, like they would know about it. And then even just, the tribe disadvantage, like they didn't know about the disadvantage until moments before they ran the challenge. And
here's the thing though, it's not that just somebody lose a vote. Jawan stole the vote. The vote did not go out of play. It still exists. Jawan has it. To me, this is the best Journey ever. Had Journeys been like this in season 41, I would not harp on Journeys all that often. Like I would be like, they happen too often maybe, but I would not harp on the journey. Cause like this, there were number one, is there luck? Yes. I guess people could team up on you and get you out, whatever. Like that's just the game of Survivor.
That's like
Welcome
sort of
to Survivor.
Social.
Right.
Yeah. That's less luck. It's more social.
Yeah, correct. There's a social element. There was an actual challenge that required effort that we got to watch. It was not a puzzle. Holy crap. And there was a choice to be made. You did not have to lose. There was not, let's pull something out of a bag and find out if I lose my vote today. Nothing, no garbage like that. It was a choice. And one of the choices was literally a tribe disadvantage, which means nobody loses. Like there was a choice. There was a choice. People got a choice and it wasn't a lose-lose choice. Like Jawan, I think he chose tribe disadvantage, which is the one I would pick too, by the way, to answer everybody's question. I don't know. I don't know. What would you have picked? 100%. You picked the same thing? Because
I would have given yellow disadvantage. That was as soon as I saw that was the option, I wrote down give yellow a disadvantage. That's the only option there.
I would have given it to blue. I also.
Oh wait, interesting. Okay, why?
I love to pile on the loser and just make them lose more. It's an amazing. They do it on the Amazing Race. Like Amazing Race will be like, they have the U-turn. If for those not familiar with the Amazing Race, the U-turn happens at a detour. A detour is a choice between two tasks, each with their pros and cons. That's what they say on the show. And it's true. You got to do one of the detour tasks. However, a U-turn is when somebody finishes a detour task and goes, which team do I want to make do both tasks? And sometimes it's a double U-turn, make two teams do it. Well, usually the strategy there is to pick the weakest team to make sure they get eliminated. So in the case of blue being the worst, give them another disadvantage to make sure that they lose and you don't. You know, like that, like like making putting on yellow maybe evens out blue and yellow, but like screw that, just pile it on blue.
But here's my thing, because in the game of Survivor, like I get that once you hit the merge, it's not going to be perfectly like the tribes are not going to stay perfectly intact. But if I'm on the red tribe, I don't want to go into the merge with a blue tribe of one person or two people and then a yellow tribe that has the same number of people as we do. Because then if the blue people team up with the yellow people, then red is in trouble. You know what I mean? So like I would rather go into it with like the majority of the numbers as much as possible. So I get that tribes don't perfectly stay together after the merge, but like, I don't know. I think it's maybe a little bit of a different strategy, but regardless, either way, it's still good for the red tribe. Either way you slice it.
The tribe's disadvantage also a good one pick because he got to bring it back to camp and show everybody, this is what I got. And that removes all doubt of, is he telling me the truth? And people might be asking, did he also get something else? Like, okay, that might always be happening, but this is like the most like, here's the thing I got and here it is in my hand. And everybody got to witness it at the challenge, which means nobody's gonna have any doubt. Does Jawan have something? No, Jawan doesn't have anything. He had tribe's advantage. We all saw it. The way, however, Jawan presented it at the challenge, in my opinion, it was the wrong way to do it. That was on Jawan, though. That wasn't on the show. I think, this is my personal opinion, Rebekah. Of course, I'm playing quarterback with 20/20 vision. I know exactly what happened. I know all the rules. Like Jawan played with what Jawan knows. My personal opinion is you don't tell anyone you had a choice. No one knows you were given a choice. You could just be like, because I won this, I got a tribe's advantage. There was no choice. I don't say there's a choice. Nope. Don't even. Why does anyone need to know? No one's ever going to know because no one else got to see the choice. No one else got to see that there was a choice. It wasn't like, hey, by the way, when you win, there will be a choice between two different things. And one's this one. Like basically say I didn't have a choice. It was tribe's advantage. My choice is which tribe do I put it on? So when Jawan, he's like, so when he says, I won the challenge, however, I want to be very clear. I don't, my choice, which tribe, but my choice, like I am forced to do this. Survivor, Jeff's not going to say to me like, no, you weren't. Jeff's not going to say that.
Wait a second.
Jeff's not going to be like, turn off the cameras.
Right.
Turn off the cameras. Turn them off. I'm
obsessed with the idea of Jeff just constantly turning off the cameras.
Turn off the cameras.
Turn them off.
Turn them off. All of a sudden, the next scene, Jawan has tears streaming down his face. I had a choice. I'm so sorry.
That's so funny.
I wonder why
Boston
CBS
Rob
won't
is
talk
there for
to
some
me.
reason.
Wonder why CBS
just like cut the cameras. Boston Rob isn't here.
Wonder why CBS doesn't hiss about exit interviews and stuff. I can't imagine why. Anyway, so
oh man,
just crying.
But so wait, question for you though. So would you say that Jawan should not have told his tribe
and
that
no
he
one,
had a choice?
anyone? But really, where I'm getting at is the way he presented it was, hey, well, blue's already been sucking, so I'm gonna put it on yellow to get. No, don't even say that. Just be like, literally, literally, I didn't have a choice. This is what I won on the journey I was forced to go on. You got to really present it as I didn't have a choice. I had to go on the journey. This is what I got. Honestly, I'd flip a coin over this, which tribe gets it. And, I know it's not an option to do, but like basically present it as this. I just had to do it, guys. Like I literally didn't have a choice. I cannot give it to my own tribe. That's ridiculous. It had to be one of the way Jawan presented it was like, I had a choice. Then he's like, all right, like the way he's talking, it was like, it seemed a little bit like Yellow got offended by Jawan.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he made a lot of enemies.
Right. But he didn't have to. And this is all 2020, watching it and thinking. But from the moment he was given a choice going back to his camp, I was like, I wouldn't tell them there was a choice. Like, give them nothing. They don't need that. They're never going to find out till the episode airs. There's no need to tell them. Right.
Yep. And then it's too late to vote him out. So
Jeff's like, turn off the cameras. Jawan had a choice, everybody. He's lying to you. All right. All right. So yes,
just like the most aggressive, least like Jeff sounding thing ever. He had a choice.
So Alex finds a beware advantage. The first one we've seen anyone find this season. Not that no one else has found one. Just the first one they've shown us, to be clear. Somebody could have found one in episode 1. It's just not been relevant until now. No info until losing the challenge. We've seen this variation of the beware advantage before. So we get the immunity challenge. Rebekah, can you explain to everyone, first off, the challenge, but also what the disadvantage is that Juwan gave to the Yellow Tribe?
Yes, absolutely. So there were a few stages to this challenge. So the first section was everybody had to race over an elevated like rope bridge thing. It was kind of like a U shape. I forget what Jeff called it, but yeah, just kind of like it was kind of high off the ground too, probably like 5 feet off the ground if I had to guess.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, had to go across that and then cross like this wide step obstacle. Had to dig up a ladder, and this time Alex did dig deep enough. So they had to dig up this ladder, Yeah, good for him. And then set it up, climb up it to get a key, use that key to unlock a rope gate, and then untie the gate so that everyone can go through it. And then everyone had to race up a steep ramp. And once you got to the top, there was, of course, surprise, a block puzzle that 2 people had to put together. And so the disadvantage was that for the Yellow Tribe, everyone had to run the first section of the challenge with 20 pounds of coconuts on their back each. And at first, when Jeff said this at first, I thought he was saying the entire challenge, but I guess I don't know if they changed it or if
I think it should have been the entire challenge up through the puzzle, yeah.
Because even like getting up that steep ramp would have been so hard with all those coconuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because honestly, like frankly, it didn't seem to really slow the Yellow Tribe down, which I guess just speaks to their strength. But I was like, that wasn't much of a disadvantage. And then, the second part of the disadvantage was when they got to the rope bridge to unlock it, they had 10 keys instead of just 1. So they had to like figure out which key was the one to open it, which again, didn't really slow them down that much, but it did a little bit, I guess.
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts, diddly-dee. That's all I can think about when I hear coconuts. Remember back when they used to do that's okay. I think it was from Lion King.
Okay.
I think it's what when he was like in between the jaws, he was held captive by the hyenas, the bird. Anyways, so I remember back when they used to do the challenge that they stopped after Caramel, and I don't know why, where they chased each other, tribes chased each other, and they used to put on weights. They didn't do coconuts. They just did weights. So it was kind of like, why coconuts? Like, it's almost because the coconuts, I guess, a weight is evenly spread in is one solid unit, whereas coconuts, I guess, I haven't listened to the On Fire podcast for episode 2 yet, but I'm going to guess that Jeff's going to explain it as, well, the coconuts, they can go all over the place and it adds more difficulty. And to that, I actually would agree if he does say that. It does. And
I think we saw a little bit of that in the challenge. I forget who it was, but yeah, someone like jumping off the first rope obstacle. It was like, it was a little awkward and seemed like that would be a lot to manage. So yeah, that makes sense.
I did like the Rizgod trying to backflip into or backfall into the net, and it didn't work. Yes. So the Rizgod just like, I'll do it again.
I also loved Jeff's narration of that moment where he was like, Rizzo tries to do something cool and it fails. And then he tries to do it again. And he's like,
Jeff's like, I don't understand.
That was kind of cool, but not that cool.
Jeff's like, all right. Jeff's probably out here thinking like, who could be on 50?
Honestly, yeah, he's taking notes.
I remember like Rizgod and Savannah would not have been invited at this point, I assume. So he's like, at this point, that's all you got. Throw it out there for those who are on Survivor. Like, everyone and their mother knew 50 was gonna be returnee season. If you're on the season right before everybody and their mother knows it's a returnee season, bro, do whatever you need to get on that next
try
season.
Something, yeah. I love the idea of in the middle of the challenge, Jeff's like, cut the cameras, write that down, write down that he did that. No, write that down.
He only cuts the cameras when he wants to yell at them. That's why I heard. I mean, some people have said this on Rob as a podcast, not me, because why would I begin behind the scenes? That's ridiculous. But no, some people have said that.
No, actually. Okay, I'm actually obsessed with the idea of you going on Rob Has a Podcast and just spreading rumors that you have no idea
Of course,
about.
I would never get...
That's really funny.
Not how I've been asked, but I would never get asked back if I did that.
Yeah. And also, it would discredit you like crazy, but that would be a really good bit for just that one time.
What else is new? All right, so here's some inside baseball for you all. Number one, when Jeff does his apply for Survivor. Mary was like immediately like, we've been to that part of Jeff does everything on Mana Island, the main island where all the challenges are, and the entire crew sleeps.
The tribal council and stuff.
Tribal council, all that. Jeff does not leave Mana Island for 25 days, in my opinion.
Nice.
Unless there's a medical evacuation. I say 25 because on the first day of the season, they do their challenge on a different island. I think it's the Edge of Extinction. Jeff has to leave Mana for that. But otherwise, Jeff does not leave Mana Island. Inside baseball, the challenge site that they were at for this immunity challenge is one that they use super often. This one probably one of the most used, if not the most used, across the seasons from 33 through now. And I say that because here's some fun facts. This challenge site, because I went to Fiji this past season. Mary and I have a podcast called Our Ultimate Guide to Fiji and Survivor and Fiji, whatever. And this challenge site we went to was one of the first ones we saw. And it is by golf cart, because that's how they travel over there. By golf cart, it is 1 minute from Tribal Council. So think about that. You lose at this challenge. You got to go take a boat back to your camp, 40-minute boat back to your camp. Right. So you can strategize to take a 40-minute boat back to Tribal Council. Jeff is 1 minute by golf cart from this challenge, not only to Tribal Council, but to where he sleeps. Jeff goes
like you can just walk at that point.
Yeah, I'm just saying by golf cart because I maybe he does walk. I mean, honestly, it's an easy walk. It's all shaded too. It's super nice. It's shaded. Nice. Yeah, like when he said it's hot out, I agree with him because when you're in the sun, it feels like a 20-degree difference between the shade and the sun in Fiji. I don't know what it is. I'm not a scientist. I don't know how any of that works.
The humidity, maybe?
I don't know, but
also not a scientist.
Yeah, where I live, if I go out into the sun, I'm in the shade. Like it feels different, but in Fiji, it felt like more drastic. Anyways, Jeff is 1 minute by golf cart from where he sleeps, from Tribal Council to this challenge site. So on this day, Rebekah, theoretically, Jeff woke up. All right. Oh, we got a challenge at 2 p.m. Okay. Gets like his clothes on, gets mic'd up, gets out there, does the challenge. Like, all right, I'm going to go back and get some dinner. Goes get some dinner from the chow hall, goes back to his, whatever. Maybe gets a nap in, then goes to Tribal, and it's all right there. Also, Incredible. This puzzle that they did at the immunity challenge, I physically saw it being burned. Of course, that's not really a spoiler. I'm like, okay, they're doing another puzzle with the logo. Like, that's not surprising to me. The puzzle piece is solid. Those are not hollow pieces. Those are some solid pieces. I mean, like, I'm not saying
heavy.
I'm not saying they're solid, but I'm saying that they're not light. So the burn site is not too far away from this immunity challenge location where they burn their trash and stuff on the island. And the Fijian locals did not give two rips that I walked in there. They were burning Survivor stuff from 49. They didn't care at all. There was not a care in the world. Nice. As I'm going over there, and the piece, it was from the Yellow Tribe, the one I got to see. I even got a picture of it too. Yeah, because nothing's better than getting a picture of a puzzle piece in a trash site, but I got it. So yeah. Anyways, yes. So just some fun facts that, this challenge site is used pretty often. I bet you it's because it's 1 minute from all the relevant locations by golf cart and it's shaded. So yeah, just there you go. I hope you have fun with that. And yes, the challenge sites do look they are as big in person as they appear on TV. Like nothing ever looks. I would say some of the smaller sites are actually smaller than you think, but the bigger ones are just as big as you think. That's also what I tell Mary, so keep that in mind. Okay. Throw that there. Also, all the background footage you're seeing on the podcast, that is filmed in Fiji. So this challenge site probably is somewhere in that loop I have going on in the background. All right. So yeah, it's a lot of inside Survivor, baseball, whatever. So we go back to, okay, so who loses? Oh yeah, Blue loses. By the way, how did Blue blow this? They blew this so bad. This is a horrendous loss.
They really because I mean, they got to the puzzle obviously it's edited, but several minutes before the other tribes even got to the puzzle. And so they had quite a bit of a lead, quite a bit of time to look at it.
It's just the Survivor logo.
It's just the Survivor logo, but also what was crazy to me was that the other two tribes put the puzzle together, and it seemed, like Jeff said, it seemed like Blue hadn't even really made any progress at all. I don't know if they had one single piece in place by the time the challenge was done. They just kind of stood there and looked at it for a long time.
It's the Survivor logo. You don't even know. You don't even need to know how to do puzzles. to just put
it's just
the
an oval
logo together.
Like, yeah.
This isn't something different.
It was like, it was like a 3D puzzle, so that, I could see there being some trial and error, but it's like, I think we're just seeing kind of like they were talking about, like the exhaustion and just the fact that they haven't eaten like anything and they haven't had fire this whole time. But it was kind of crazy because it's like, you just got to start like putting pieces down.
Get the oval together. Yeah. Because even if it's not, even if pieces aren't like in the right spot, it's like, but like,
even if you have to like start and stop and like reconfigure things, you still have to like start doing the puzzle, and they never started it.
Yeah. And then Annie's back there like directing them on what to do.
Yeah, not helping at all.
No. That's actually, I will say, pro tip for anyone who goes on Survivor in the future, because I'm sure somebody listens to our podcast will be on Survivor in the future. Cat, stop. My cat is swiping at my phone, which is how I'm talking to Rebekah right now. Stop it.
No.
She's like, he's swiping at it because I think I have my headphones plugged into it, and he's just swiping at the cord because cats love swiping at things that they can swipe at. Stop it.
He has some opinions about this. Oh my goodness. He has some opinions about the puzzle. He would have done it better.
He's like, it's not that easy. Okay. It's actually hard. He's a big Sophi B stan, apparently. All right. Sophi. So that happens. They lose pretty badly. I also have never been on Survivor and done a puzzle. So I say it seems easy. Maybe it's harder than it looks. But anyways. All right. So, Sophi B. Okay, so they go back to camp. Alex is looking for the immunity, him and Jake, and then they add in Sophi B, and then they add Jeremiah, basically in that order. But Sophi B steals the key, strong word, tries to trick them. I don't know if it's allowed. Kind of like, remember, okay, so we've talked about so many seasons in a row. Why don't you just take the box and smash it? I'm sure they've been told beforehand, if there's a lock on something, you're not allowed to just open it. If that makes sense. But I always think, why not just smash it? What are they going to do?
Well, and also I think it would have been a little hard for her to hide that in this instance because they're all like in the same area looking for this box. So she picked up a box and just started smashing it on the ground.
Okay. So what I was getting at was not should she smash it or not. I always think you should smash the box. But in this case, they got the key first. There's no need to smash the box. Like in this situation, there's no need. But I'm saying that, was she not allowed to take the box and hide it somewhere else?
I think she could have. I think they just would have seen her do it.
Maybe.
Also, like something that was interesting to me, because like, the show in this like little bit before Tribal tries to kind of like throw something out of like, oh, maybe Sophie's going to be the one getting voted out. Obviously, like, I think we all kind of knew it was going to be Annie. But something else is that, like, Sophi to me seems like the main character of this tribe.
Blue, yeah.
Because the whole time that they're, like, as soon as she gets brought in to be looking for this idol, we're not hearing from Alex anymore. And he's the one who found the original Beware Advantage.
Correct, yeah.
But we're hearing from her, we're hearing her thoughts of, like, oh, I'm going to try and hide this
main
and, like, see if I can
energy.
get it. We're also, once Alex gets the idol, I don't know if we ever hear from him in a confessional about, like, I don't remember hearing anything from him about, like, oh, I found the idol, I'm so excited. No, instead we're hearing from Sophi and she's like, man, this is really bad for my game and here's why. And here's, like, the strategy and the alliances that I have and everything. And so, yeah, that to me, I'm like, yeah, like you said, Sophi is just giving off main character energy. And yeah, I don't know, it's something to keep in mind. Like, yeah, I feel like she is definitely the main character of the Blue Tribe. And of course, the Blue Tribe is the losing tribe, so that might not mean much, but yeah, it is something to note for sure.
We talked about podcast guest host, earlier in the episode. Sophi B is someone that I think I openly said she's invited on after the season, because I know she can't do it during the season, obviously. She did comment saying she wants to be on. She then deleted her comment. And I say this because I wonder if part of their contract is you're either A, she commented and then heard us talk more, and then she decided, oh, no, I don't.
Oh, never mind.
B,
they keep making pee jokes.
Well, this was on the podcast with me and Mary last week. She commented that. So I don't think Mary or I made any of those jokes. I might have made one. But with Mary, I definitely less joking, more winner analysis. But I say that because I wonder if, like, they're not allowed to, like, I don't know. Maybe that's not like you can't say that during a season. I don't know. But she left her other comments up. So anyways. Yeah, Sophi B. Maybe she'll be on during 50. She is an open fan who comments on multiple podcasts. Like, yeah, of course. Again, any star player wants to do that. Like, of course, I will. Yeah, you want to be on? I want you to be on as well. All right. So yeah, Sophie tries to do a 4D chess move. It doesn't work. Alex finds it anyways. He then goes and talks to Annie about the idol, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, literally. Yeah. I was thinking the exact same thing.
Because it's not presented to us as I'm doing this so she doesn't play her shot in the dark. He does it, and it's like, why? Like, is there someone out there who's believing, who's not a child, who's believing that this is like, oh no, I might use my idol tonight and Annie's gonna be safe? Like, no one's believing this.
Yeah, it seemed unnecessary to me because it wasn't like he needed to convince Annie to like vote with him or anything. Because like, yeah, nothing changed from him showing her the idol and being like, oh, maybe we'll vote out Sophie. It was just like, it seemed like he was just kind of messing with her to some extent, which, you know, who knows? There might be stuff in the show that is cut out. There might be context that we didn't see. Maybe, you know, Annie was thinking about playing her shot in the dark or something. But it was just kind of like, you don't need to pull off such an intense blindside, in my opinion, so early in the game, especially when you know that Annie, like, doesn't have an idol. She doesn't have an advantage. Like, yeah, I don't know. It seemed a bit extreme. Like, she's told you very openly who she's voting for. And we didn't see that Alex had any mistrust in her. Like, he didn't think that she was lying to him as far as we knew. So, yeah, I don't know. It seemed a little unnecessary to me, but maybe there was more context that we just didn't see.
Yeah, there's always more context, but at the same time, the way the show presented it makes you as a viewer go, but why? It almost makes you like question like Alex's motives and like, why would he do that? Like Annie's leaving. So she's not going on the jury, you know, it's nothing like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
At Tribal, I forgot who said this, but it's like, yeah, there's gonna be a blindside tonight. I mean, I was thinking, I don't think I would say that at Tribal. I think I would be like, no, I don't ever want there to be a blindside because I might be blindsided. Therefore, I am anti-blindsides, which would then cause Jeff to go turn off the cameras. Wesley.
Then it cuts
Number
back
one,
to you're sobbing.
Make analogies. Number two, we want blindsides, okay? Ratings are going down. We can't get them to go up without blindsides. And yes, then the camera turns back on. I'm just like, I hope there's a blindside tonight. Jeff, so sorry, Uncle Jeff.
Uncle Jeff.
I mean, Joanne called him Uncle Jeff tonight, so yeah, Uncle Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Annie gets voted off, which I think we all figured from the moment she said, "I'm the puppet master," like 3 minutes into the episode.
Yep.
So it was a very anticlimactic end when I already figured it out 3 minutes into the episode because she said the classic line, "I'm the puppet master." Like, at least save that until Tribal, okay? Save that until right before Tribal, so I'm not like figuring like 3 minutes in. Not even Mary. Mary had it figured out. Mary usually is more like, okay, it could be this. Like if Mary's like, oh, I'm dead set on this. It's like, dude, that's like Mary usually has more of an open mind than I do. You know, you guys have heard me talk enough. I get laser focused to the point where I'm like, oh no, I don't care that Joe had a zero confessional episode. He's winning 48. Like I know better, but I don't. Mary is more open minded than me in that case. So, all right. Annie gets voted off. Jake gets bitten by a snake, or maybe, as you said, gets bitten by a snake because maybe Alex tells him not to yank the snake, and Jake goes, "Okay, I won't yank my snake." So that's very important.
Yeah,
that
that's
Jake,
exactly what I said. Yep,
probably doesn't yank his snake on Survivor 49, but it is potential that the snake does bite him, and he has to yank the snake off. So you gotta get that snake off of you. All right. With that in mind, that's next week. So that's week 3. Tomorrow I'll be on with Survivor Specialists. Tomorrow, Mary and I are also doing a winner analysis. That'll be on Patreon on Thursday. If you're listening to this on Thursday, I'll be on Patreon on Thursday. I'll be on YouTube on Friday. And Madison will be joining us for her debut on 49. She'll be joining us for week 3's winner analysis, right? She's been in our group chat as well, not liking the peeing jokes at all. All right. What's new on Patreon? As always, these podcasts are early and ad-free. You can download them. The only ad you're getting, I guess, technically is me talking about Patreon right now, but that's it. The Survivor Fantasy game, as I said before, this might be the last week to join and still have a chance of winning. After this, I feel like your chances of winning are probably low because missing 3 weeks out of 13, I feel like is quite a big chunk, but I have Flippin' Annie on my team. So, and you have Nicole, Rebekah. So yeah, you know.
Although I do have to say, I'm doing better with the votes this year.
Yeah.
I put 8 votes on Annie tonight, so Watch out.
Good for you. Okay. Rick Devin's story videos on Patreon right now. The worst 40 chess moves in Survivor history is on there. And I got to mention Sierra's videos on Sierra, who voted off. Did you hear about this? She voted off her own mother.
She did?
She voted off her own birth mother.
Crazy.
That is a literal.
Was it a blindside?
It was a war crime. It was a war crime. The Geneva Convention was pulled out right then and there to find out what needs to happen to Sierra for what she did. All right. So with that, check us on Patreon, link in the description. We greatly appreciate your all's patronage. It keeps us, as you notice, we don't have sponsors we have to bow down to in these podcasts. And we don't have to worry about what CBS thinks because we're not beholden to anybody except ourselves and you. Wow, what an inspirational moment. Okay. Aww. Moving on to winner analysis. Tomorrow, Mary and I will be covering the remaining 16 players in more depth than Rebekah and I will be tonight. However, the winner analysis, the all season, I will forewarn you that we are going to talk about things that are not told to us on Survivor 49 in terms of what Survivor decisions have made on 50 and us just putting 2 and 2 together on stuff. None of this is guaranteed to be proven correct. However, it may feel spoiler to some. That is your warning. At some point during the season, I'm stop giving the warning, but I'm giving the warning for the first few weeks at least, because we're going to talk about stuff. Okay. Like beyond. Now, Rebekah, I did send this to you on Instagram, but I sent you the podcast and I said where to listen to it at. The On Fire podcast, as I've talked about, I think since 47, the On Fire, and they've been doing it before that. I just think I noticed it starting with 47. Is that they tend to talk about the winner far more often than they talk about everyone else in the season. So, for example, during the 48 podcasts, they talked about Kyle. I counted. I was keeping a running tally. I listened to all 13 episodes back to back after the season ended, having already known the result, obviously, at that point. That's usually when I listen to them is at the end of the season for the secrets video. It makes it a lot easier, frankly, to get all like that. Anyways, point being is that I counted. Joe is the second most person talked about. However, Kyle was talked about 3 times as much as Joe. And Joe is the second most talked about. Right.
That's crazy.
And when you go back to it's like episode 3 of the podcast, I'm like, man, they really are talking about Kyle a lot for someone who's not really that important in the story yet.
Right.
Okay. So with that in mind, the On Fire podcast for episode 1 starts off with, oh, we're back. Everyone's like, ah, with their forced laughter. And then they reintroduce and they're like, Jeremy Collins is joining us. By the way, good guest for the season. Solid choice. Jeremy Collins, a past winner. That's a good choice from a pre-40 season. So once they get past their introductions, the first thing they start off with is Savannah's winner quote. And I am going to do something I normally don't do on our podcast. I'm going to insert a clip here from the On Fire podcast, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about it. So here's what Jeff said about Savannah's winner quote on the On Fire podcast.
Easiest million you ever make, Savannah. That would be nice, but it seems unlikely.
I like the confidence. What you're trying to do in the premiere really is say to the audience that the journey we're going to take you on will be worth your investment. So Savannah sits down and basically says, I've assessed the group. This is easy money.
Wow.
And what's fun about that is, A, Savannah's being honest, which is what we really need from the player. Be truthful with us. And B, the audience is now engaging in their own assessment. They're now assessing the player saying, that's a very confident statement to make 10 seconds into the first episode of the season.
It also sure would be delicious if somehow she does make it the easiest million she's ever made.
We did that with Richard Hatch in the first episode of the first season. The check already has my name on it. Maybe this is coming full circle.
Wow. It could be.
Okay, so that's from the On Fire podcast, episode 1. I encourage you to go listen to the On Fire podcast. Yes. So with that, Rebekah, you heard it. I heard it. Jeff basically says about Savannah's winner quote. I mean, they talk about it on the podcast within the first. They start talking about like less than 3 minutes in the podcast. They're already talking about it, and they keep talking about it until like 6 minutes, 10 seconds, 6 minutes, 20 seconds in. So they're talking about for the first 6 minutes, half of the first 6 minutes are talking about Savannah's winner quote. And Jeff literally is like, oh, we could be doing the same thing we did with Richard Hatch. No, he didn't say it's misdirect. He says literally, we could be doing the same thing we did with Richard Hatch in season 1. And is Jeff, number one, there's 2 ways of thinking about this quote, and I want to hear what you guys think in the comments. One is Jeff's being, he thinks he's being cheeky, and he knows that 95% of people listening are not going to think that Jeff's giving any sort of spoiler. Or 2 is, and Jeff's like, I'm being so cheeky. Wait till the end of the season where I tell them I did. I remember back when I said this. I'm so funny. Or 2 is that Survivor's so in the know, they gave us the winner quote. Jeff's even talking about it so that they can trick us. And it turns out Savannah doesn't win. Joe wins.
Yeah, that's
48.
Honestly what he comes back,
he comes back
in the last episode.
The edge of
so
Joe.
Funny. Jeff's like, cut the cameras. They turn back on. Joe's there.
Joe's there. I knew he was going to win. I called it. No, but for real. No, it could be. So it's either Jeff thinks he's being cheeky and is going to be like, hey guys, look what I said back in episode 1. Or it's going to be, he's just misdirecting us, knowing that this is the general consensus amongst those who are very much into Survivor to the point they're listening to like a podcast like this. So which one do you think it is, Rebekah?
See, honestly, I think that it is, I think it's Savannah. I think that they're hinting at it and they're thinking, oh, they're being cheeky or whatever. However, I say that I am also just so like paranoid after the Joe thing that I'm like, it could be a misdirect. Like I just feel like it's so obvious at some point that I'm like, wait a second, is it too obvious? Are we going to be blindsided? And
like
it's going to be
season, right?
Exactly. It's going to be someone else. So realistically, what I think is actually happening is, yes, I think it is Savannah, and I think that they're just trying to be like cheeky or coy or whatever word you want to use. But I'm nervous though. I'm not going to go all in on this yet. I'm definitely open to other possibilities.
It's just when you stack it with everything else, it seems like it's the evidence by itself is not enough. The evidence stacked with other things is where you start going, okay, like it's overwhelming. So let's run through our top 3. My number 3 this week, I dropped Jake because Jake gets bitten by a snake. Does Jake yank the snake or not? That's the big question. We're all gonna be thinking for the next 7 days.
For sure.
Does Jake yank his snake on Survivor 49? That's the question you must ask. Think about it. Get back to me. My number 3 is gonna be MC. Because I didn't want to pick anyone else on blue because they've lost 2 people. If Jake goes, like, shoot, like I don't feel good about blue.
Yeah.
As you said, the only person who seems like they're of getting any like real value in the edit is Sophi B. And while I do like Sophi B, I'm not sure about her winner chances. I mean, outside of what we know, outside of maybe her second place chances, if we're going to be cheeky. So yeah, MC for me is number 3. I think out of everyone in yellow, she's the one I like the most. But at the same time, yellow to me just does seem like the shallowest tribe. I want to point out that last season we said that the Kyle, Camilla, David tribe was the shallowest, and look how that turned out. We're not always right.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah,
and I will say MC get the most depth in the preseason.
When they were doing the challenge tonight, MC went up that vertical wall and made it look so easy. It was very impressive. I was like, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, MC is my number 3. Who's your number 3?
Yeah. So my number 3 is actually the Rizgod. I bumped him down to number 3.
Not the Rizgod.
Just because, listen, here's my thing.
All right.
Here's my reasoning for this, is that I think he makes it far in the game. I don't think he wins. And some of that just has to do with like the way that, the tribe layout is on season 50 and different things. I don't think he's going to ultimately win. And also, like, we're definitely getting a lot of entertainment from him in this season, but we're not getting a ton of, like, I guess, personal content. Like, he's got a little connection with Nate. We're hearing a little bit from him here and there, but I just think that there's other people that are getting more focus. And of course, it's early in the season. It's hard to tell. His tribe hasn't been to tribal yet, so that may very well change once we get further into the season. But yeah, I feel like he's definitely someone that, obviously, I'm sure he's going to go deep in the season, but I don't think he has a great shot at winning right now. So that's kind of why I'm like kind of balancing those 2 things and putting him at number 3.
Blasphemy.
I know.
If we didn't have so many pieces on Savannah, I'd put Rizgod at 1. Rizgod for me is number 2. The Rizgod, not only is he coming back for Survivor 50, his name is the Rizgod. It's absolute cinema. The aura, the vibes are immaculate. The Rizgod, it really, I mean, let's be real. Like, honestly, a lot of it does come from the fact that he's on 50. But regardless, he calls himself Rizgod, and that for me is top 3 material until I know better. But I don't know better, and I do also know better. So Rizgod number 2. Red is probably our strongest. I know yellow's strong, but red is the strongest. Not only there's the strongest, I guess I'm saying, is an overall package, meaning between challenges and the content they're getting on the show. So that gives me more confidence in them. Also, we just know too much. We just know too much.
There's too much outside information this season.
And the thing is, the outside information
is making
is Survivor.
me paranoid.
It's Survivor. Survivor's done this themselves. Survivors put the Rizgod and Savannah on 50, but they put Rizgod on a tribe with Kyle, a winner, and then why did they even put winners in the season? That's the biggest thing. They put 2 winners on, one Kyle, one D, and then the third tribe that Savannah's on doesn't have a winner. So Savannah's either A, the winner, or B, they just haven't they have 3 tribes and only 2 winners, which is possible. Again, past seasons they have had an uneven number of winners. It's not like they're required to have a certain number of winners. I think even Heroes vs Villains had, maybe it didn't. I think Sandra and Parvati were winners, and you had JT and Tom, so maybe that was even. But like Game Changers had an uneven amount. People are like, well, they were supposed to have 4. Yeah, but they didn't. They had 3. I don't think it's supposed to have whatever they want. They didn't have a backup winner for the winner who dropped or whatever. Okay. They didn't. They had 3. So anyways, it's not required to have an even number. It just seems likely based on that. And then you add on, of course, what Jeff said and the Savannah's winner quote. And like the pieces are just like, they didn't have to give us a winner quote. Jeff didn't have to say what he said in the On Fire podcast. When you do all that, it's like,
it's so obvious.
It's just so many pieces at once. And of course, this season, the first episode is called Act 1 of a horror movie. And in that episode, Savannah is the most like monstrous of them all. She's like, everyone around here is just so happy. You know, like she's the most, she's like,
we gotta play the game.
Right. The aura, the vibes are immaculate. Okay. So who's your number 2?
So my number 2 actually is Sophi B from the Blue Tribe.
Oh.
Reason being, I wanted to pick someone not on the Red Tribe because I feel like they're just getting a lot of focus.
Or Sage. No,
I think not.
Sage should be in my top 3. What did I do?
No. So I wanted to pick someone not on that tribe. Again, it's hard to tell because Yellow has not been to Tribal yet. So I do fully acknowledge, like, we're getting a lot of content from Sophi B because she's been to Tribal the most out of, her tribe has been to Tribal the most. So yeah, I get that. But I feel like we're getting a lot of content from her. She's also in a pretty solid alliance, I would say, especially with like someone who, Jake is probably going to be like quite the challenge beast once we get to the merge. So that could be a good thing for Sophi. It could be a bad thing. But I think, we've gotten so much, everything has been through the lens of her perspective on her tribe. Kind of like we talked about earlier with like Alex finding the idol and everything. Like all of that has just been through her eyes. So I feel like she's the main character from the Blue Tribe. And so, yeah, I feel good putting her in my top 3.
Okay, well, both of our number 1s are Sage. Sage loves to pee on Savannah's parade and actually win the game. Savannah doesn't win, Sage does. There's my second joke.
Can you imagine
if Savannah just peed all over Savannah's parade?
If Sage won the game.
Sage wins by peeing all over everyone's parade, yeah.
That'd be crazy. She just pees on the fire and like puts it out and then everyone else quits.
She wins the $1 million check and immediately pees her pants. She's like, I'm so sorry. I have to go to the bathroom. I was so excited by this win. I needed a change of pants. Comes back and just like, Sage, I see you've changed your clothes for the pizza and champagne party. She's like, yeah, my heart rate really went up.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Savannah's number 1. I've already talked about it. Plus the show is supporting her and being a main character, which is very helpful to being a winner. And has not shown her to be stupid. In fact, if anything, Jawan's offending her, but notice how there's no like Savannah's being unreasonable. Nothing like that came out of anybody's mouth. Yeah. Nope.
Yeah. And it definitely I think it will be very telling once they actually do go to Tribal, because if it seems like they're kind of building up this feud between Savannah and Jawan. So if he does go once they go to Tribal, then it's going to be like, okay, well, Savannah, got her way. She, got the numbers and all of that. Like, I think that would be a really positive reinforcement. So we'll have to see if that happens.
Okay. Well, with that, tomorrow, again, Mary and I will be doing all 16 players left in the game. All right, let's move on to trivia question. Rebekah, unfortunately for those who are Wesley fans, all 10 of you, I am behind Rebekah. And for the rest of the 99%, Rebekah's in the lead. Keep rooting for her. Go for it. All right. Trivia question, Rebekah. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Your question, I have upped the difficulty because I do not like that you're in the lead. All right. So, Rebekah, which winner has a perfect game of Survivor? However, their perfect game of Survivor is technically ruined. This is the asterisk because they did receive votes against them, but those votes they negated with an idol. So they would have a perfect game if the negated votes counted for perfect game, but it doesn't. So I hope that's not confusing.
Sure.
I tried to figure out the best way to word this. Basically,
I think
this person has a perfect game if you're like, yes, the idol negated votes, they never counted. However, the traditional rule is, okay, those votes do count, therefore not a perfect game. This is the only winner to have a perfect game if the votes they negated with an idol, All right. So your options are A, Jeremy Collins, B, Adam Klein, C, Earl Cole, D, Kim Spradlin. For those who are wondering what a perfect game is, that means you receive 0 votes against you all game. And at Final Tribal, you got every single vote.
Yeah, this is a really good question. I genuinely don't have any idea.
Good.
I'm trying to think. It's been so long since I've seen any of the seasons where these people win. Can you list the names again for me?
Your options are Jeremy Collins from season 31, Adam Klein from season 33, Earl Cole from season 14, or Kim Spradler from season 24.
Boy, I really don't know. So I'm going to guess based on nothing. I'm going to say Jeremy.
You son of a gun. Yes, that's correct. That was trash. I was trying to give you the Adam Klein. Here's the thing. Adam Klein got clean sweep the jury, but got votes against him. Earl Cole had a perfect game, except in episode 3, he got 1 vote against him from, I forget her name, Rita, I think. And her explanation for why she voted for Earl is just because she didn't want to vote for the person who's getting voted off. No good reason. She just didn't want to vote for. So like Earl was 1 vote off the perfect game, and Kim Spradlin just was dominant. You son of a gun. Yes, Jeremy Collins had a perfect game, but it has an asterisk in my opinion because he negated, I think, 1 tribal. He got 3 votes against him, and he negated those 3 votes with an idol. It's the only tribal. So yeah, he had a perfect game otherwise. So it's JT Cochran, like actual clean perfect games, and then Jeremy Collins with an asterisk. So Rebekah.
Okay. Well,
I'm gonna up my difficulty next week.
Oh boy.
Keep upping it till you get it wrong.
To be very clear, I had no clue on that
you got it right.
I just guessed.
You got it
right.
But
it still counts.
Yeah.
It still counts. I got 2 points now.
Still counts.
Okay, so your question actually also has to do with tribal and immunity idols.
Okay.
So that's interesting. But okay, so your question is, who was the first castaway to have both votes cast by and cast for them negated by hidden immunity idols at the same tribal council?
This is a complicated question. All right, you have to simplify it.
So they had people vote for them, but they played an idol, or someone played an idol for them and negated those votes.
Okay.
And also, whoever they voted for, that vote was also negated by
Oh my gosh. All right, what are my options?
Does that make sense?
Yes, unfortunately.
Okay, so your options are Yowman, Keith Nail, Kelly Wentworth, or Jeremy Collins.
Oh. I don't think it's Yowman, taking him off the table. If it's Jeremy Collins and that's how you knew this one, I'm gonna kick your butt next time I see you in person. Only because now Jeremy Collins is an option in both questions. Do I want to guess him? What were my options? All right, so Keith Nail, Kelly Wentworth. Kelly Wentworth negated a bunch of votes. Wentworth does not count as an iconic moment. However, did she also get idled in that? Like, did somebody play an idol negate her vote? I don't think so. I don't think it was Keith Nail. Never did anything. My recollection of anything like that. If he did, it was completely unintentional. Keith Nail was all character, not much strategy. I'm gonna say Jeremy Collins, but if it's Kelly Wentworth, I guess I won't be surprised. Jeremy Collins, my answer as well.
Okay, so the correct answer actually was Keith.
Wow. Which season?
He was. So I forget which season it was, but he was the first person to do it. However, it did happen for Kelly and Jeremy Collins as
Wow.
well. But they were
Okay.
just Jeremy was the second person to do it, and Kelly was the third person to do it.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so he
Wow.
was he was the first. So yeah, wow. So that means that after 2 weeks,
All
I have
right.
2 points.
The restrictor
and you have
plate is
0.
off. All the stops are being
That's
pulled.
crazy.
Next week, I'm pulling out my, like, I have been holding back because I'm like, it's not fun, like crushing you 12-4 or whatever, like I was doing. But now I'm behind 0-2. All the stops being pulled. Next week, I'm pulling out an insane question. I'm going insano on
Bring
you
it on.
with my difficulty
thing.
questions.
Here's the thing. You could hit me with the craziest question, and I might just randomly guess it.
You'll have a 1 in 4 shot,
Listen,
but
yeah,
that's all it'll be.
I'll take those odds. That's pretty
I
good.
might give you 6 options to make it a true shot in the dark. All right.
That's so funny.
Let's move on to your all's questions. Every time when the episode is done airing live, we ask for your all's questions here on YouTube, and that's what we're going to answer. So, and I will point out that if I notice that you actually comment on videos, you're more likely to be picked by me for a question than if you only comment on this post, because there are some people who only comment on this post. I very much recognize it. And then they don't comment on the podcast, which makes me think, are you listening to the podcast? I mean, you might be, but just, when I only see you comment on this, it makes me wonder. So anyways, the Rebel Dog, a longtime follower who also comments and stuff, asks, this episode really made me think, if someone else finds the idol while you're still in possession of the beware advantage, do you still lose your vote? Good question.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I was actually wondering the same thing.
So
and
Sophie gets the idol.
I forgot to bring it up earlier.
Does Alex lose his vote?
Yeah.
I think so.
I'd have to go back and read, because I think it says, yeah, if you're not in possession of the idol, by the time you go to tribal, you lose your vote. So I would think yes, but I'd have to go back and listen to that
I think
again.
if Alex gets the idol and then gives it to Sophie, Alex is fine. He has his vote. However, if Sophie did what she was trying to pull off and stole the idol, I think Alex is without his vote.
Yeah?
I'm pretty sure that's correct. That sounds right to me. All right. Next question is from Derek 5 Numbers. Jake was back in his hometown of Edmonton, talking about Jake from the season, doing a watch party downtown. I got to say hi and even meet his new baby. So we can all confirm that Jake does not die from the snake and he does get to see his child.
Excellent. That is good news.
This is that Derek did not know this was a question on our minds, but now he knows. So
yes.
Thank you for answering that question. M. Pierre asks, will the season feature a medevac?
I mean, there's always the possibility, even
Jake
if it's not
medically
next
evacuated?
episode.
Yeah. Well, if it's anybody happening to it. By the way, Sophie had a bandage on her right knee. She's pretty scraped up already. Sophie B. Only Sophie, honestly, it matters on this show. No shade to Sophie, the other Sophie, but like Sophie B is the main Sophie at the moment.
Yeah.
Sophie B.
We got a confessional from the other Sophie tonight, and I was like, there's 2 Sophies this season.
Yeah, that's right. Yellow does have people on it.
Right, yeah. Yellow's a tribe.
Sophie
There's 3 tribes
B had
this
a
season.
bandage on her right knee, and it was falling off during the challenge. I don't know if other people noticed this, but I noticed it was like swinging and hanging. And I was like, oh yeah, she has a bandage, huh? I didn't even notice. So yes, because production after like season 16 decided, we don't want half our cast being pulled due to infections in their joints. We should probably handle those things when they happen. Because if you remember, Penner got pulled for an infection in his knee and from a challenge that poked him. And then James got pulled for, I think, an infection somewhere. I forgot exactly where his was. James was in his elbow, his hand. I forget.
His fingers.
James,
because I remember him saying like something about like
it was his finger. Yeah, it was his finger.
And he's like, I need to use my hands for work. Like I can't risk losing my hands. Yeah.
That season, I think, was the breaking point for Survivor. Like, okay, we do need to do something. Otherwise, like, they lost 2 people that season just due to infections. And it's like, they need to be on top of that stuff sooner. So you'll see that at the very first episode of Gabon, when Randy hits his head on his shelter and cuts his head open, medical's out there immediately. It's not the next morning. It's not day. No, it's not the challenge. Jeff's like, hey, take a look at Randy's head. No, they're out there immediately. It is in response to Micronesia when people got pulled for the infections and they didn't want that to happen again. So yes, when Sophie B is like has the bandage hanging, I'm like, like they're on top of this stuff now. I mean, I forget, it's been so long, but like, so I watch these older seasons, I'm like, they really weren't on, it was truly survival They did not care. They're like, you better lick at that
Good
wound.
luck.
Lick that wound,
Here's
buddy.
an island. Yeah.
All right. So with that is the end of the questions. We're going to do our winner analysis again tomorrow. Of course, Mary and I. So, all right, let's move on to our new section of the podcast. The people who listened to it last week received it very well. I want to know if anybody last week actually watched Charade. What did you think of it? Because I really like it. If you don't like it, that's okay. I'm not gonna be offended. I didn't make the movie. But anyways, this week, Rebekah, it's your turn. You got to pick a movie, and you're not only gonna tell us about it, but you're also gonna tell us where to watch it. I think it's an important part of the section.
Yes.
Where can you all watch it? Because we buy movies. Rebekah and I are buying movies that we like and we want to own.
So this week I picked the movie The Fantastic Mr. Fox, which is, I think it's funny. Tonight, everyone was talking about everything being so cinematic. And this is a movie that is actually very cinematic. It's a very fun, like, definitely, I would say it's a family movie. It is pretty intense. Like, it does get a little dark at times, so I probably wouldn't recommend it for young kids. Like, I would probably recommend it for kids like 10 to 12-ish and up, because it does get a little darker. But I really enjoy it. It's a fun movie. It's very funny. It's very adventurous. The cast is stacked. I mean, it's George Clooney, Meryl Streep, like Bill Murray, so many people, like an incredible cast. And it's a stop motion animation. They use puppets, and like literally everything that you're seeing, the whole world has been just created in like these miniatures. So it's definitely a movie that I think has a lot of like rewatch value, because, you watch it the first time, it's like the story, and, you'll notice things here and there, but like the more you watch it, the more you're going to notice little details and little Easter eggs in the background. And it's just, I don't know, it's the style of it, like the stop motion, it always takes me a little bit to like get used to it, but it is a really cool medium. Like once you kind of adjust to the I don't know, the pacing of it and everything. And also, I don't know what this means, but my cat, when I was watching this movie, my cat was locked in on the TV. She was like so engrossed in this movie. And she normally like does not watch TV. She does not care like what's going on. But like something about this movie, she was just like dialed in. So I thought that was really funny. But yeah, it's a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend it. It is streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu. So if you have either of those services, you can watch it there for free. But yeah, like I said, lots of rewatch value. So if you're gonna, like buy it, I would recommend like buying it if you're going to, but also streaming it is good if you have one of those services.
Wes Anderson directed it, and if you've seen a Wes Anderson movie, it's a Wes Anderson movie.
Which it's so funny because like I forgot that he directed it before I started watching it. And I was watching, I was like, this feels like a Wes Anderson movie. And then the credits rolled and I was like, oh yeah, duh, because he directed this.
I think I'm the opposite. I can't watch a movie without knowing who directed it. And even if I don't know who the director is, I just need to know as I'm watching. I'm like, okay. Because if I like their stuff, I'm going to check out more stuff by this director. Yeah,
absolutely. And also the other thing with this movie is the soundtrack is incredible. Like I've heard the soundtrack, like I'm the type of person that I'll just listen to movie soundtracks sometimes, like when I'm working or just whatever. I know.
That's what we were talking about movie reviews. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the nerd, not me.
I do really enjoy the soundtrack for this movie. It's, I don't know, it's just fun. It's very like playful in a lot of ways. So yeah, I enjoy this movie. Highly recommend it. Again, kind of a family movie, but wouldn't necessarily recommend it for young kids. But if you have like little older kids, I think that they'd enjoy it a lot. So yeah, that's my review. I
personally find this movie just okay. However, I must be the outlier because you like it, but also anyone I've ever heard talk about this movie really likes it. So I am the outlier. I understand this. For perspective, there are, I don't want to say the movies because some people are like, why you don't like that? Like there's some movies where it's like, okay, this is not my aura. This is not my vibe. The immaculate cinema vibes are not there for me, but so many people like this movie that clearly I'm the outlier, and that's fine. Like not every movie's for everybody.
Yeah.
No movie ever should be. This is a movie where I remember like this is like so long ago. I think it came out and like, my cousin was like, oh, you're going to love this movie. This is your type of humor. And I'm like, press X for doubt. And then I watched it and I was like, it was okay. And then I've tried rewatching it again without that expectation in my mind. I was still like, yeah, it's okay.
Mhm.
But I agree with you. I really like the stop motion. Stop motion kind of reminds me of Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Another movie with stop motion that is beautiful. It's not a movie. That movie is on Netflix. I don't want to own that one. I thought it was good, but for me, it was a one-time watch. Mary enjoyed it as well. For another stop motion comparison, I don't know if anyone's seen that one. That Pinocchio. That Pinocchio is not Disney's Pinocchio. Oh, Rebekah.
Okay.
If you have access to Netflix, watch it. It is a Pinocchio.
It's kind of dark, right?
Yes, it's a Pinocchio made for, I would say, it's not like R-rated, but it's definitely like for older teenagers / adults. Like it is not a Pinocchio. It's not Disney Pinocchio. It's not Pinocchio for kids. It's an older Pinocchio for sure. I mean, you could watch it with kids. Like there's nothing like, but at the same time, like people are definitely like, there's like people get blown up and other stuff. It's not a kind and gentle Pinocchio by any means. So
is Jiminy Cricket in this movie?
Yes. He's voiced by Ewan McGregor. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a check out Fantastic Mr. Fox. Rebekah says, I say if you also like stop motion, you look for a darker movie, Pinocchio on Netflix by Guillermo del Toro.
And I will also say, I just want to add real quick for the Fantastic Mr. Fox, because you mentioned about the humor.
Mm-hmm.
I did find it funny. I don't think it was as funny as I expected it to be. Like, it's more of an adventure, I would say. Like, more of a...
lighthearted.
Lighthearted, almost like a heist movie, but like a little bit less intense. Like, yeah, I don't know. But I expected it to be much more comedy than it was. So don't go into it expecting it to be like slapstick or like super humorous.
Right.
Although there is some humor throughout, and I enjoyed the humor. Like I laughed out loud a few times. So yeah, but just don't go into it expecting like a full-blown comedy, because it's not.
The casting to me felt like, okay, George Clooney did the Three Oceans movies. What if he did that in an animated movie? Because the Oceans movies, I think the third one had come out, like they only did three of them, like a trilogy's just only. They did a trilogy of Oceans movies, and I think the third one had come out maybe a few years before this one, but it's like that was the decade of George Clooney doing heist movies, because Fantastic Mr. Fox, as you said, I don't know if is it a heist movie or it just feels like a heist movie. I think it is, isn't it?
I mean, it kind of is, but it's not. It's multiple things. Like, I think a heist movie is like really intense on like, okay, here's the plan, and like here's, let's go, and there's like plot twists and everything. And you don't have all of that in this movie. Like there are multiple heists, but it's more of like you kind of stumble into the heist, if that makes sense, instead of like getting into the planning and everything. It's just like, oh, we're in the middle of a heist now. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. But so it's like kind of a heist movie, but not really.
It's kind of like when Indiana Jones is in the middle of a fight and accidentally does something that goes well for him. He's like, okay, and he accepts it and moves on. That's what you're saying. Like, I stumbled into this heist. Well, I stumbled into success, and it's funny. Yeah. So
yes.
All right. Well, hey, that's it for this week's podcast. We thank you all for listening. I do think that this episode overall is better than the premiere, and I'm hoping the season improves. I'm hoping that it's like 46, where 46 had a slow start and the season ended really well. I hope that's the season, because the premiere was rough, but this episode was better. Especially with
but this season was not as bad as 46, because we didn't have Banu in this season.
Dude, and 46's second episode was 2 hours as well. And I was like, oh my gosh, shoot me now.
Oh, that's right.
Shoot me now.
Forgot about that.
I remember calling that.
That was tough.
The moment I heard the episode 2 was going to be 2 hours, like months and months later, I was like, no, that's a mistake. Why are they doing that? I was like, that's a mistake.
That's tough.
Yeah. And then Jeff on the On Fire podcast, like, it was so great to have 2 hours. Like, get out of here, Jeff. Stop it. Stop it. Brevity is the wit of soul of wit. I'm not that smart. I remember that phrase, and brevity is good.
Yes, brevity is the spice of life.
Is that what it is? Okay.
That's not it.
That's not it either. Apparently neither of us are well read enough to remember that phrase. All right. Well,
I don't remember.
We thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.